Let's talk about the 5 different major categories of cancer. Just to begin with, there are at least 100 or maybe 200 different types of cancers. Renal cell carcinoma, non-small cell lung cancer, breast cancer, so forth. But you can gather those up into 5 basic groups of cancers based on their histologic classification. Histology is the study of cells, based on their cell types. And those 5 are carcinomas, sarcomas, myelomas, leukemias, and lymphomas. So those are the 5 major categories. In fact, carcinomas are the most common type of cancer. They make up about, I think it's something like 80% of all cancers. So oftentimes you'll hear things like, what kind of cancer do you have? I have kidney cancer, or I have renal cell carcinoma. Now, that's the same thing. Renal cell carcinoma is the same as kidney cancer. But sometimes you'll ask people, what kind of cancer do you have? And they'll say, I have a carcinoma. But that's not the best answer to give, because 80% of cancers are carcinomas. And carcinomas can form in many different places in the body, like in the duct tissue of breast cells, like in the lining of the surface of the colon, like in your mouth or your esophagus or your stomach, or your skin itself. And that's because carcinomas are cancers of epithelial cells. And epithelial cells are cells that line the surface of organs. In this case, it's the outside of an organ, your skin, or it could be that soft, slippery, wet tissue inside your mouth and your sinuses and your esophagus and your colon, the mucosal membrane there. And those are cells lining the surface, and they're called epithelial cells. And therefore, if you get a cancer, a head and neck type cancer of some sinus, or in along your cheek or down by your gum, that's going to be an epithelial type cancer, or otherwise known as a carcinoma. So those are the major categories. The other ones, like sarcomas, those are cancers that begin in connective tissue, things like ligaments and like that. Leukemias and lymphomas you've heard about in blood-forming tissue or part of the lymphatic system. Myelomas are things like multiple myeloma, and they're a bit more specialized. There aren't very many cases of those, but they're one of the 5 major categories. Okay, I hope this was helpful. See you in the next video.